Because this rope needs to move, right?
Yes.
So right now it's below this one, right? Right? This one is above, this one's below. So I'm simply going to get it off, get this one back where it should be. Then it's free to move down, right? So when we're moving it, we're not using, this was the loop for when it was pulled long. We're going to use this loop, right? The short loop, and even there, the short loop. So the first step, get it off. Get it off, both sides. Next step, space is 75. There's many ways to do this. The first way would be, if we had no marker here, we would put our stick halfway and we put a peg here and we go start. The person goes there. Today we'll make use of our rope, but I want you to know how to do it if there was no marker. Okay? Also, you could have another rope. I'm not going to do it that way today. Okay? We'll just do it on one side. Remember, we're working with minimal tools. Okay? Maybe someone, at the very minimum, someone has to have a Terran rope and a downslope rope. It's extra to have another downslope. That's up to you. We're going to work with minimal tools. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use this mark, right? And we'll just move along on that side with a 75. Okay, who can come and help? Who's going to help us? The hammer go. Okay, you're going to come, get the hammer. So who do you think? Let's leave a hammer on one side. Where did the hammer? Did you grab it? There you have it. Okay. So who is the first person to set up their peg? This side, because he has a direction. So go ahead. We'll find you. I'll find you a peg. Just set it. Peg it in just outside the rope. This man is first. He has a line he's following. I think you can find us. Right now against the rope. It has to be strong. It needs to be strong. The danger that it will slip off because of the angle, but you can just stay there and hold it. We need to keep going. Yeah. Okay. So wherever the rope is tight, right? What is tight? How tight? Calibrate. So I'll stand above so you can see. Go. Where he a little bit more.
Tight.
More. Pull it.
On that, the other side.
Yeah, he's just working on it. Yeah. Pull a bit more. A little bit more. Keep going. More. Don't do this. Keep going like that. Okay, there. So this weight, we need two things to happen. From center to center. Good. So wherever the stick comes to that peg, center to center, and wherever that is tight. Okay? If you want to come in the middle and you confirm something else. So this marker should be in the middle. I'm not saying you have to put a stick there. I'm just saying visually it should line up in the middle. Okay? So things should kind of line up with each other. Are we good? So that rope is now in. Okay, I need a team of women. How many holes do we have? 3 women.
The one who didn't.
One more woman. Okay, so always organize yourself. Start on the outside. Give your friend some space. Remember, what happens if she works here? What happens when she's done? She has to jump around me. That's a waste of time, right? So you can choose any way you want to go, but you from the outside in, and this you'll join one of them. Okay? So what's the first step? The mouth. Yeah. So first pull the blanket away. Yeah. Good. Yeah, lean your hoe with the blade down, center it, good. Okay, stand your hoe back up. Where the blade is where you start. Go ahead. As you go ahead, good. Yeah, go deeper, good. Go ahead and go deeper. Good. Yeah, that's quite close. You know, a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, good. Want to try another one? Maximum 2 each, because we need to share the knowledge. Do we have one more? Sorry, yeah, one more woman. You're trying to hide. I'm sorry you can't. This is where you make your mistakes. If you make a mistake, who is here in your village? Who is there to help you? So don't worry about making a mistake. We're all here to help you. When you go home and make a mistake, who will help you? The lady.
The blanket. When you move the blanket, you don't have to digging with the blanket.
Yeah.
Her plants are a little bit left.
Good.
This lady.
More of the blanket away.
This lady.
There you go. That's good.
She could not.
You need to measure with the compass. You've not measured, you've started with not bad, but you started digging straight away here. So we want to start small, deeper, deeper, and we need to stay on the hole. One good shake.
These people, they may cut.
This hole this time, that's how it will be.
Cut even the rope.
Somewhere, you missed it, right? Yeah, you doing good? So come, cut up
But you know,
the rain, the water would come down, go
The
down,
land is fertile, yeah?
and have a hard time
But
going
we
up.
have loam soil.
But if the hole is like this,
Or too
Which can
much.
do well.
the water will likely pass through. So you want it to come down and go into the hole.
Yeah.
So the V is a little bit lopsided. The top of the V is almost straight. Not quite, but almost. The lower part is like this. It's not a perfect V like that, it's a little bit lopsided. The top is almost straight, and this is a bit more like this. Okay? Yeah. It's a little bit, it was plowed or it was worked up a bit, so it tends to go back. You just have to keep pulling it out. So here, this V is a little, the angle's not quite right. You like to just go a little bit deeper. I'm a very mean teacher. I'm a very mean teacher.
Naona kazi ya kulima isiyo ya watu
The work was good,
wachache.
but I want you to learn something.
Oh.
The work was good, Why am I covering it? You're soon about to find out. Okay, so let's imagine we had a good season, we had a good yield of maize.
That is next season.
Right?
We are going to next season.
1 year went by, we put our input, we put our ash. Now we're coming, we're digging out planting stations. I want us to see the benefit of permanence. How did we get here? Same process. Pulled out a rope, put the first marker on the top one. Second one, now last mark on the other permanent peg. We're moving down. Now let's see, what is it like when we come the next season? Easy. I'm actually not even using the same process. I'm not even having to do that so much. Because I'm not digging the holes, I'm opening them. They were dug once. Now they're being opened. Still, the shape is the same. The shape will be however I made it the season before. If I made it badly the season before, it will still be bad.
Hey, the tree and then you're gone. So the first thing is preparation, well made. Well procedures followed, well measurement. Or no casual laborers, you save your money. What is my son? With my
Hey, what are
son.
you seeing? How is this job? Way easier. Did I get here by accident? No. I measured. Okay? I did everything to high standard. Okay? So what have we just done? We've decreased. There was manure there. The soil was more softer. So we expect next season the yield has a higher chance of being better. And I'm so happy I listened to Teacher Anthony in class. So the benefits get better as you go. But if you start the wrong way, no way you're going to benefit. Okay? So that was just an exercise to show you the benefit of permanence. Of course, if we do this again, you would find some black soil from the rotting manure, some fungus, some roots from the last crop. Okay, I'll let Griffin, you take over for a bit. A question, yeah?
Okay, let's assume.
Sorry, this question first.
Let's assume
I'll let you, Griffin's going to take over.
we planted maize, and now it's season 2 when you were digging again. But because we want to do rotation, now for season 2 we want to do beans. But the beans are not in holes, are they? In furrow.
Yeah, we are going to have the last 3 lines. We are going to see how they, but still we are
No, so
a little bit will be digging on the same line. So at this juncture, you can see opening here only, but this one is a little bit soft.
okay, so I can, and then the next season I can go back to the hole.
The planting.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. But you'll find eventually the whole row is now soft and having fertile after the rotation goes through.
But in the case of maize, you know, some stocks are very strong, and when we harvested, did we pull the maize stalks? Or
No, in fact it goes where we don't pull. There's something we do, we call stock lodging, which we are going to show at the end of this one.
okay.
So we showed it yesterday in class. We are going to show it here at the end of the practice. We are going to show everything here.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Alafu ya mwisho, in my community we have a lot of weeds. There is a weed that is called witch weed, striker. It is really a hell in our summers. How can we deal with that weed?
Do farming God's way.
Serious?
striker.
Which weed needs temperatures over 30 degrees centigrade? Or is your soil temperature over 30?
And you cover it.
Witchweed needs always a cereal crop in your field. We're doing crop rotation. We're not intercropping and always having a cereal. Witchweed needs to have low levels of organic matter and nitrogen. We have nitrogen and organic matter.
Oh,
Every problem with witchweed, we're solving. At the beginning, you'll still have it, but it will slowly go away. Rotation is so important, and let me point out with rotation, it must be annual. You must have 1 year without a cereal crop to start to get rid of witchweed. 1 year, not 1 season. These rotations are not seasonal rotations, they are annual rotations. A season is not enough to break a disease and pest cycle. Okay, we have to go back to Griffin now.
Okay, thank you. You can have two more people to come and have our rope moved. Two people, one on the other side, the other one on the other side.
As they come, can I make a comment? I was observing the holes being dug. And
there's a comment here, we can listen.
I was observing as the holes were being dug, and this is not to be against the ladies, but this is what I noticed most of the ladies doing. This is the way they were digging the holes.
They are pushing the rope.
It is better to look at the mark directly. Because it also helps in your back.
Thank you.
If you do 1,000 holes this way, when you go back home, you'll be walking this way.
I swear.
Let's just be comfortable. The position is so simple. You just bend your knees a little bit and try to hold. It's kind of like a spring. Do it. It was actually springing, and it's so much easier and much more healthier that way.
That hole must be at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, straight.
Thanks, Anthony.
At the same time, when you stand like this, are you sure the hole is the 90? It's going to be a little bit twisted. So let's continue.
You can pull
Now,
that
who
peg
is the
down.
first one to be?
So on this side, he can pull the peg. That side,
He has a mark.
he shouldn't. Because he has to use the last peg to measure from. Here, this man has no, a mark.
Has a mark on the rope.
That guy has to go peg to peg.
No. Yes, no.
You just
Wait for him to in the middle.
the other one is already measured. This one.
Okay, now people who are here, you can closely see down on the ground. Step on it.
Maybe you put a little bit more.
Tighten it. Before he hits, what he's supposed to do? No.
Someone needs to help you.
Someone should be measuring.
You tighten the rope.
Is it fine? The one measuring, is it fine?
You up like that.
So,
So
I'm sorry, I set a bit of a bad example, but it was mainly so that you could see. But you should be standing here.
That size, yeah.
I know I was standing like that, but I just wanted people to see. But we don't want to stand on the soil. Okay? So I was only standing there so that you see what I'm doing. But let's now go to the correct method, which is always to stand
Going down.
below.
Like that.
Yeah. It is okay.
don't step on it.
It's okay.
You see, something we are doing here, when you have your 75 here, just a minute, you don't have to be forced to put it here at this end. You have to stretch it until the rope calibrates. So you don't, some people are forced to put it at this end, and you find maybe the rope is not at the same place.
Like that.
So what's happening?
That's okay now.
It's pulling this rope inside the field.
Sometimes our shambas are, maybe they want to enlarge as we go down.
I wish you were here yesterday, because 5 out of 5 of your questions have been answered.
Okay.
The more you go, the shamba comes, the more like this.
We're going to answer that question. We'll fill in. We'll put a hole on the edge of this field here.
Okay.
We'll do it in a bit.
Okay, thanks.
They're good questions.
The 3 people. One is already.
Yeah, because now you're coming back to the same place, so you'll not find it, right? Here.
Yes, lady. They're not straight. They're not straight.
As you go to the rope, you have begun. So, one. As you go to the rope,
The bottom of your thumb. Yeah, it's great. Great. The problem you have started a bit close, so it wants to come back inside.
this is so much. Meaning they're also starting somewhere from far up, they're going very wide and making a lot of soil. So make sure when you're digging the planting station, you don't throw the soil too far. Okay, fine. Another tip for moving the rope.
Can I ask one question? If you want to do,
This side.
Good. Compliments to your classmates.
Tighten it further. Make sure you don't move away from the street. Is it right? Okay, now you can do it. Take care of your nose.
He has a mask, she'll be safe. Is it strong?
Is it strong?
Okay.
Now, if you know you have a suit, can you come in?
People with the suit. The guy in the suit. He's standing behind the tree. Yeah, we have one more suit. Good.
Men in black.
Let's go.
I thought it's for the picture. No, it's for you. These are the covenants. To do the work. See, they're all. With the blanket. Smart farmers. Do you see in Farming God's Way, your shoe will not get dirty? Even your suit. You're walking on nice carpet. Good.
As you go, get a bit of that chocolate.
Then you take from here, then you go. But you know some hands are short, others are.
If your hand is short, it's supposed to be like here now. You measure up to here. Go 15 centimeters.
So women hands and men hands are different.
Sometimes you get women with
Don't move the blanket too far also.
Did you measure?
It makes it.
Why not you mix the blanket and the...
When you find a stone, remove it. This one more here.
Someone says in a certain
Well done.
in the village they would wonder what kind of
Oh, that's good. How is your shoes?
We are agriculturists. Yes.
People with t-shirts.
I just wanted to compare what was coming off of the soil from the hose. Between this one and, for instance, this one.
There's a difference.
Because again, there are ways of digging what different. Yeah. But you really, depending again on the type of the soil,
Yes.
you really want to get as soft as possible.
We can't hear.
Because it will go in and cover the soil. So I can see the cabinet secretary for transport was pulling compared to the cabinet secretary for environment. The difference is that while he was chopping, he was dragging. He was literally just doing this and not chopping it into small pieces. It kind of works out easier in the second, third seasons. You can easily drag, but in the first initial phase, you really have to chop it.
And also when you are covering your bean seed or your maize seed. Now if this one goes on top of your maize seed, for sure, is it going to cover?
Yeah, remember my example was I was pulling out. Why was I pulling? I was showing you that I was opening the station, but it had been dug properly before. So you must dig it properly, get the chop, 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 get that ugali into small pieces. Okay, not big chunks, otherwise you'll choke.
One more person from this end, another one here to move the rope.
It's good.
Now remove.
Mawe zitatoka, mawe zitolewe. Even the ones outside can be pushed out of the field.
Waliamba wa Muru. Hiyo natupa kando. Spoiler wa mimi.
But this bit is a bit sloppy.
No, you know, I'm going to make
And that calatas should also be removed.
Sometimes if you people this day and you are mine, you find one strong.
You?
Now you use them. Apple. Okay. Yeah. Sasa inafanya kwanza timu yake na hiyo maji. Aone
Kama Uganda. She's not reached the... Yeah. Let's to continue up to the street.
No, you see this one is no, very local.
Which one?
It's like local. It is not in the road. This one is inside.
This one has a problem.
Yeah, it's local. This one is no local.
So how do you guys like the shape of your garden? Lines this way, lines across, and even
diagonals.
You see, this thing, if you stand from
looks
here,
good.
you have to see the line going. If you stand
This
from
one.
the other side,
This is not so...
Hello, one person.
This go.
what's your name?
Vuta tena, vuta. Unavuta mkono. Gonga, gonga. Uangalia mkono.
For yourself. For yourself. Yes.
Now we are going to do something different here. Okay. Remember we talked about crop rotation. Yes. Now for the
next year.
The next year or the next season. If we are having them to do.
It should be next. Yeah, I emphasize. So moving is okay within the same group, but when you want to rotate away from something, so rotating season by season is okay. But when we're really looking to break a disease and pest cycle, like Striga, witchweed, or moto, what do you call it here? The Striga. What were you calling it? Witchweed.
Kayongo.
And Kayongo.
Yeah.
What is it in Swahili?
Witchweed.
Okay. Now you can listen. Now we have known that. So in this case we are not going to have planting stations. For the last 3 lines we are going to have a furrow. And the furrow is not as deep as the planting station. The furrow is only 10 centimeters.
No, it's 8.
8.
Yeah, it used to be 10. We're now doing 8. That's the new. It's the new standard 8. Yeah.
So for that case,
it's really not deep. Yeah.
You start from the first marker. Now for this case, calibration is not much needed because you are going to make the furrow all over. So wait. So we remove the blanket. You can just help remove the blanket, but at this time don't push it far. A little, just a little bit. So you are going to do the furrow. Now after that, remember the first one was 15 centimeters. So our strike was starting from this end. Are you seeing it? But for this case, we do it that way, but a halfway, because we are not going as deep as the first one. So it is a half of your jembe. I've not started and you have already done.
Watch Griffin for a bit.
Watch fast. Still you have to maintain your V.
I prefer that one to the first one. I should only plant beans.
And now, listen. Don't start too far.
So 8 is 5 plus 3.
I should be a man for doing the it's not as complex as the first one.
We're going deeper.
So we should always start on the outside going in. Don't leave a... Can we start here?
Huh?
Are we okay?
So you're pulling again. Remember the what did we tell you? Chop, 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 chop.
Go close to the rope.
Piece of ugali. You're going to choke. You eat your ugali like this? No. Please chop up your posho. It is not one strike at the rope and pulling. Our seed on this, and we cannot put this on our seed.
Exactly.
Okay, that is the reason for chopping. It's not because we want it to take a long time. We're after high standards. I understand that you could just pull one time. I understand you could do one hit, pull the whole clod out, and you have a hole. But will you put that big clod on top of your input? Will you put your seed on that big clod?
No.
No. So chopping is not just some nice idea that we had. It is for a reason. To break up your soil in small pieces so that it's easy to move around, okay?
But for the same case, now you have to measure where your 8 centimeters are. So you have 5 centimeters plus 3 centimeters. My whole finger is 8 centimeters. Eh?
5.
You can see it is a little bit more than
It's slightly deeper in the middle there. So normally we just end on the last.
Which finger do you use to measure that?
the middle one.
The middle.
Suppose mine is short.
Then you can extend.
Huh?
Your 8
If you are,
is 8.
Oh,
you can
yeah, that's
extend.
what I
That's why we are measuring. 5 and then plus 3.
For you to
Suppose I use a rope.
So which one is that?
Mine is big.
Yes,
So this is 5.
Can
But now,
improvise a stick. I check.
Now you see
I check, I
yours
measure,
gets
then-
lower than your middle
can you measure
finger.
your flesh?
His is actually right there.
Your 5.
Men, of course, for men it's different.
5, 3. Yours is not even getting there. Yeah?
Taller.
So someone is asking a question about like rotations. Now you have furrows one time, holes another time. How does it work when I come back up here practically?
Now, when you are planting beans, for example, how far should we separate one seed from the other? How is that process?
You're going ahead. You're going.
Yeah. I think the question right now that I would like us to address is, we have planting stations now. What if we rotate to beans? What happens here? Yeah. But do we find planting stations? No. Well, the area was dug, right? It was opened. It's soft, but it's not open. The field is level and covered, right? Because the crop grew, we knocked it down, everything is level. Now we're bringing our rope here. So, right, imagine this is all, right, the crop has grown. Now we find everything covered here. I'll just do 2 planting stations for an example, right? Right, now I'm going to bring my rope here. I want beans here, right? So, what do? The rope is here.
Make a furrow.
I make a furrow. So when I dig here, what do I find?
Soft.
It's soft. As I go here, it's a bit hard. Okay, I'm not going to dig with my hands, but I think you understand. So the furrow will definitely go here. So I'll benefit from some nutrients and some softness here. Will be a little bit harder between. No manure or anything. And then back here. But you realize once you have gone through the cycle of a station and a furrow, now the whole row has been worked once. There's nutrients everywhere. So it's just when we do come again, following a planting station with a furrow, soft, a little bit hard. Soft, a little bit hard. But once you come again with a planting station, the station is still there. Come again with a furrow, the furrow is there. So once you've gone through the cycle, one of each, you find the whole row is worked once and has been fed. Okay? But every season the ground is level. You don't find any furrow or planting station. It is down there inside. It's you to open it. Right? After planting, even today, you're going to find the garden is flat. You only see the permanent pegs here and down there and there. You bring your rope, you find everything. It's there underneath the blanket. Okay? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, fine. 2 more to move the rope.
Just a connect greetings from the tradition of so the workstation, the planting station of the first one will retain because of the size.
Strike, next
small chops.
Next strike, next.
Don't start at the rope. Come to the rope.
Yeah. As you go to the rope.
You're just pulling at once.
You chop as you go to the rope. Just try to strike you.
Ama ini ile lesson anasema hapo siku.
You wanted to do just what
Ndio tuseme tulikuwa tunataka confirm iko hivi.
Nimepea yangu moja. Cheki kiasi, cheki. Mtani tunafunika kama shamba. Ili unakuwa hii ni nakula. Ni unafunika funika ile.
Thank you guys.
Mungu inaspana kwa mingi.
The rope. Another one.
Well, I'm interested
Now don't remove the peg. Leave the peg. Now measure the sacrifice. From the center. Center of the peg. Center of the peg. Center. Can you pull it? Step on it on the 75. The first 10 rows, row number 11 you have to put permanent peg. But for this case we are going to use this last line. So when you reach line number 9 we put permanent peg in this line. In our farm, first 10 rows, number 11 permanent peg on the first marker, and on the last marker. You go from number 11 to 20, those are 10. Number 21, in the middle of the farm. You know we are not here for perfection, but for excellence. The number 11 can still set you back on having the line, the correct line. So you take your permanent peg, you come here. This is our last marker here.
Yep.
You hit it down until it is 5
centimeters.
5 centimeters remaining up the ground. Can you get a smaller one? Bring this in. You can show as well, we have to have our permanent back peg.
I don't like that, not quite. But I try to have it.
So all of them is water. You have to put.
Are you sure the permanent peg doesn't go outside the garden? Here it's outside. Why not outside there?
Because I will be working there.
There will be a difference.
Tell me why it's going there. Why? Yeah, but why not outside? Here it was outside. Why not outside? No, don't say right. I'm asking you. Who knows I'm right? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm asking you.
Outside, I can step on it.
Yeah.
We were trying to orient ourselves as a baseline.
Okay.
So we needed to go and put outside the garden. So then we started on our
Yeah. So this went outside of the garden, above the rope, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why not put that one outside of the garden, on the other side of the rope?
Because it will be over 75. This is the anklet.
What is the reason? Why not put that on the outside? Yeah, simply because what is happening below the rope? Annexation. So this is not, don't think about this being the outside. Think always permanent marker above the rope. Even down there it is above the rope. Planting permanent peg is always above. I'm just trying to confuse you. But because someone may say, oh, this one was outside, that one we'll put outside. No, it's not outside, it is above. Even down there, it is above. Because what happens below the rope? Yeah, were we going to do the last furrow or no? Okay.
The last group to do the furrow.
We won't carry it the whole way, but we just get the idea, hey?
That's dust.
Na wamepanda.
Can extend it. Cut from the other end.
Start away, come to, yeah. Is it okay? Why not? It's okay. We have our permanent pegs, right? Yes. We can't get lost. Okay. There's a reason I want to remove it. I'm a very economical man. Can't waste space. I want some conic stations here. How can I do it? No, don't do that. Remember I told you about extending? So I'll say this is a bit close, I want maybe 2 here. So we come to this row. What can I do here? What are we doing? Make sure that the markers are in the center of each row. Are they centered? I can see mine. How is these? We have a boss in the middle?
Yes,
above, not in the middle. Not in the middle of the hole, above the hole. Where it used to be. Okay, don't hit my nose. It's big enough already. Okay. You can peg it in, but today we're just going to be quick. Come right up.
Chagua jembe.
If there are many holes, you peg it because you need. But you were just doing one, so we're moving quickly, right? This is extending. The principle is the same, whether 1 hole or 20. Yeah. We line up from what's in the garden. Because we have accuracy here, we have a good idea of what we're doing. Center of the hole, we good? I feel like you should pull it more, I don't know. Okay? Is this good for you? Yeah, okay, okay.
Guys,
one meeting here. I'll be like the headmaster.
Now, the next step we are going to put our wood ash. Wood ash, we are going to put 1 tablespoon at the base of the landing station. I don't take it and then you throw it. No, you see it is going to be heaped at one place.
Or even the wind will.
The wind can blow it as you are putting it. So you take, I hope you can see, we'll do it the other end. You take your heaped tablespoon, you sprinkle it at the base of the landing station.
And some blanket has gone back in, so make sure that before you put anything, the blanket comes out, eh? Blanket doesn't go down. Remember, blanket stays on top, right?
Now, in case you are doing a very big farm, you're not going to do one planting station at each time. You get a bucket, put it there, get 2 rows at the same time. So you put here, you put here, you put here, you put here, as you continue. So can we have 6 people coming here to stand on each line and do that? Remember to remove the blanket or soil.
Each of you do 2 or 3 holes and then give someone a chance.
Yeah, do 3. 3 holes. Leave it for other people. Don't eat everything.
Only people working in the garden should move in the garden.
No, you bend.
So this garden, this side is the entry to do work. This side is the exit. Okay? That is entry. This is exit. So when you finish, exit. When you want to do something new, come in that side.
When you do 3, please.
2 or 3.
Then you stop.
Across the bottom.
Try not
to step on the soil.
Don't step on the soil.
Not in a circle, in a line. Think of this as a small row.
Don't finish 3, you put your cup down.
This is a row. Think of it as a small row.
You exit.
Because
Another person to enter.
1, 2, 3. It needs to be underneath that maze. Get the blanket. Please take the blanket out. Take all the leaves out first. Yeah.
You finish, you leave for other people. When you finish, you just put the cup down.
Let's not do the beans yet.
Don't go to the beans.
On maize.
The exit is here.
No, not in a circle. Please, people are not listening. Listen to me. We're not listening. No, if you're disobeying me, you're not listening. We are not doing a circle. We're doing a line. You remember how we put the maize in the planting station? 1, 2, 3. Think of every planting station as a small row. There is 3 maize seeds going in the row. Please do not do this. On the bottom of the V, in a line. High standards. You want good results. Don't do this. We're not stirring sugar in our tea. Okay? In a row. Okay, let's keep going. No, it is a heaped spoon. It is heaped. Yeah, in lime. No, it is heaped is good, yeah. But lime is just a level teaspoon. This is a heaped tablespoon. 15 mils, lime is only 5.
Make sure you Now that is for the maize. Now we want to see the beans. The other time. Let me come. Now for beans, remember we don't have planting stations. What do we have? We have the farrows. Now for the farrows, you have your 1 tablespoon for 60 centimeters. For 60 centimeters. Now in this case we have something we can look at. But now if you're at home and you're doing only beans, you don't have the planting stations, what are you going to do? You have your 60.
Griffin, just wait. I think the people who are in need to go out. We're just not getting a view. So let's put the cups down. Let's go out while you explain. Just need orders so that everyone can see.
So I'll say, right now we can use our planting station to help us have the 60 centimeters. But in case you have only farrows and you want to do the wood ash, you take your 60 centimeter stick. Here we have the 3 planting stations. Can guide you. One of them can guide you for the 3 planting stations. Are you seeing? Yeah. So you have 1 tablespoon. Remove the blanket. Remove the extra soil. And when you are moving in the field, make sure you don't push the soil back. You have your tablespoon. Not in circles, eh? See what I've done? Some people are, you are pouring and then you remain with a little, you take it back before you finish the planting station or the line.
Let me show one other way. So it's still the same. It's like measuring your hand, right? So what I like to know, it's different for everyone, but I like to put my feet. Let me see if I know myself. I'm going to just stand comfortably. What I know, my toe to toe right now should be 60. Center to center of my feet. How did I do that? Experience, exactly. So it's not that you need to put this down every time. You can at the beginning, but eventually you should get used to what is 60. A little bit, a centimeter here, there, not that big of a deal with ash. Okay, we're not talking about accuracy of planting stations. We're now talking about placing an input, okay? So now what do? Remember, we should normally be above the hole, right? So that we are not stepping on this soil. So I get roughly the right measurement, right? And I go along there. The ideal is it is 60. You can find different ways, but make sure it's the right measurement, okay? All right, you can carry on here. We maybe need more ash.
But for the sake of here, you can use the planning station. Can guide you.
Okay, she asked a good question. Why can't I just go for it?
Because at the end of it all, you just complete one.
You can complete, but how much are you using?
The same tour.
Well, we don't know. You're saying empty your container. I don't know how big your container is. You're going to take your basin and go like this?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you put the line instead of measuring 66. At the end of it all, to be just
Yes, but how much will it be? So, okay, wait. Okay, so let's just wait. Okay, so people are asking, why not just go the whole way? It's okay, but what you need to do, listen, what you need to do is you can get a container, like a cup or a bowl, and you first need to know how far is that bowl supposed to go. So you calibrate. You put, okay, how many stations here? 1, 2, there are 9. 9 times 6 is, sorry, we need 9 spoons. So I get a container, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see what is that like, that container. So I know that container, it needs to go there. It will take a little bit of experience to spread it right, but you'll get it. But still it has to be accurate. I'm not just getting a container, any shape, any amount, and spreading. I know the right amount needs to go over the row. So I first measure 9, right? 9 gaps. There are actually 8 gaps.
From one station to the other. When you are doing a work on the farm, you find a stone or a plastic, move it to the planting station.
Yeah.
I do some plastic there.
So your idea is good. Just make sure you measure. Yeah. But planting stations, I wouldn't change. Go one by one.
Okay. Now the next.
Actually, maybe we check on lunch. I don't know.
People are saying let us wait because they have just taken it.
Yeah. It's okay. If the lunch can stay hot, I don't want to.
Okay, team. Now we are going to the next step. What do we do?
Manure.
Manure. Compost.
You want to put compost.
In one word, we put inputs. It can be manure, it can be compost or anthill soil. For this case, we are not using DAP. You can see what we are doing here.
We're putting 500.
So we put 500 ml. Why? Why 500? Apart from 500, which one are you going to use? 500. Another one? 350. Another one? So if you are going to top dress, you are going to use 350. But if you see yourself, you will not be having money to top dress, or make sure, or you maybe you don't have enough for top dress, but you have enough of your manure. Make sure at the base of your planting station you put 500 ml. And if you have enough of it, why leave it to stay idle? Then you go and spend money to buy top dress fertilizer. And remember, here in Farming Goes Well, we say we want to make profit. So you are putting a little, you are leaving the other one to get wasted, and then you go and buy top dress fertilizer. Why don't you just use the 500 ml once, and the crop will be using it? And some people will make a mistake of saying, let me put a little, then when the crops have grown, I come and pour another manure. Remember, manure goes, is taken out slowly by slowly. I can have an experience from my farm last year. By the time the maize cobs were drying, the stems were still green. Can you imagine why? Because they are still taking up the moisture. The manure held some moisture. So the stems are still green, but the maize is drying up. So you can see the difference. It breaks out quite slowly. So we take, it also needs to be.
Could we also bring the wheelbarrow with some manure? Okay.
Now, once you do for the first planting station like this, the rest should be the same. Don't put the first one is full, the other one is halfway. You'll have some even stands in it because others will be having more. They have eaten more than the others. So just like the wood ash, you don't put it in a circle. Just remove the blanket and then put it on a line. So let's have some people coming into just a few. Let me have 5 first. Then we 5. You remember the first one was full.
Still have holes up here. Let's not go down until we finish up here.
You make sure it's at the base of the planting station, not on the slope.
Is that the question?
If you're using DAP, how much do you use
DAP.
Okay, let's take a break now. You can finish the planting stations. Okay, let's say I'm your father. You're my children. Maybe I'm the headmaster. I don't maybe have so many children. Okay, and we've been doing work in the school garden, right? And I come. Farming God's way is so good.
Yes.
I can come and I see how have my P7 students been doing. So I come, I can look, right? I can check every hole. Did they do as I said? Is it scattered everywhere? Is it nicely in the hole? Can you see that you can monitor the work?
Oh, yes.
Right? Even if I'm the father and I told my children after school, please, the planting stations are open. Everyone has to do 5 lines of ash today. Every child. Kenneth, those are yours. Albert, those are yours. Isaiah, those are yours. 5, 5, 5. I come home from work at 6 o'clock. They have had from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock to do something. Can I see what they've done?
Oh, yes.
Why not? Remember, every operation gets done and it's done. We don't then pick soil and we guess what's underneath. We know what is there, we can see it. I can tell if my son was throwing ash. I'll see a cloud. I'll see it scattered. If he has done it properly, I'll see it in a line. Can you see how, since you can measure it, you will now be able to manage it? Don't allow people to do as they like in your garden. You are the leader. You're the father, you're the mother, you're the parent, you're the teacher, you're the boss. Make sure that there is order and expectations. All those can be met because you have measured. Okay? We can easily now move in the garden and see if one of our children jumped a hole. Right? And we fix it. Or if one of the children took off quickly and only did 3 lines and not 5. It's seeable. It's measurable. Okay? So that goes with your work, your farm. This is all very doable. You just have to have expectations. Please do that one operation, no other thing. Don't throw soil, don't do other things, okay? So now you can see that the work is very easily to divide. Very easy to monitor. Very easy to check standards. Okay? None of this business, you hire people, they dig holes, they throw maize, they kick seed, and then 2 weeks later you discover every other line has maize, every other row is empty. And they've gone and eaten all your money already. No chance of calling them back to the farm to fix the mistake. I don't know if you get experiences like that.
Start taking them to police.
Yeah, but who will have evidence? There's nothing to really show. Okay? So this is the way, and of course now people can also learn on your farm. Okay? So I just want you to draw your attention to the fact that we are measuring, therefore we can manage. Have you got it? You can even figure out a cost, what you want to negotiate with your neighbor per hole, per row. You can think about it, right? 1 shilling, whatever, you think about something. Okay, it's all measurable. So we're gonna let you carry on, but I don't want you to miss that this is very easy to work with people in this method, but you must keep the standards, you must keep the expectations. Okay, Griffin, we keep going.
So the next step now is to have our input on farrow. The same way we did it with a teaspoon on 60 centimeters. Now we do 60 centimeters, 1 cup. 500 ml. On a line?
On a line.
On a line.
The caterers would like us to go and start.
So let's finish. So let's finish with the...
Let's do the beans. I think the beans will take us no more than 5 minutes. Yeah, let's finish the beans.
I guess they have another place to go.
Yeah, let's finish the beans and we go. I do want you to understand, although we're going for lunch, normally we would like to not leave the input sitting in the sunshine. But a lunch break is okay, but definitely you wouldn't leave it overnight. You'd like to put your input for that day, and that day you also cover your input. That one definitely needs to be covered, okay? But in a separate operation. First make sure the input is in, then you can cover.
You're covering the hole.
Sorry?
The hole.
Yeah. Let's make all the cups work.
Wanaziba ni hii hole na hiyo tena ni hiyo bucket. So unachota mchanga udongo mahali.
No, somebody's doing beyond 60. Somebody's actually doing almost 90. From one hole center to the center of the line. You're aligning it.
No, center to center.
Go beyond. Everything goes back here.
Complicated. It's very easy. It's straightforward.
So hiyo mbolea
It's put in one place. They're spread because our seeds and also this is for green. Remember maize remember maize is much heavier feeding. So we'll need a higher rate of feeding for the maize. Or the new recommendation is 500 mils per meter. So it's slightly less feeding because they don't need as much nutrients, okay? It's not bad, we put a bit extra. This manure is not very strong, but I don't want you to be confused when you go back to your book. Your book will tell you, either it will tell you 350 over 60, or it will tell you 500 mils over 1 meter. Okay? So we've been doing 500 per 60, but that's it's a slightly heavy.
So, okay, we have
in
the end, okay?
And especially when you put a head on it, that's like 600 mils.
Can we put the soil before we go out?
Yes?
No, I think we need to respect our leaders. I think they have other work to do today.
Okay, somebody can pray for our lunch and then we go. 10 centimeters from each other. What we are used to doing at home, we throw.
For us, we just use throw 5, 8.
And by the end of the day,
And the
maybe
spray
you use a lot
only
of
become
things,
good.
but you have this left. And that's wastage. So this is how we do it. You don't have to measure all the time. You have also sufficient with our hands. So we have the first one. We leave a little space at the other end. The first one. At the center of the last.
From here to here is 10 centimeters for me. So I put my hand where the beam
So
was.
the first one is there. At the center of the line. The line. Then from this one. Drop.
Okay.
Right?
You don't want to. This should be done the night before. Right? You don't want to. All this will be work for nothing. Right? I'll put the beam. They're just going to give me no result, yet I put all that effort, right? Again, I'm trying the deepest part of the furrow, right? I'm imagining that is the deep part of the furrow. Yeah, almost in the middle. Yeah.
5 of them. Make sure that the center
Only
line.
3, sorry. He has
Do 5, then you move away. Another one on the last line. That's from the end. That's from the end.
Yeah, good.
You do 5, you step out of the farm, you do for other people.
Who has a matchbox? Okay, so they're supposed to be 10 centimeters.
Okay, we can now go back. Okay, the next step goes blanket. Now, We are coming there. Oh, the whole farm. So with farming, with God's blanket,
Please listen, you missed something important.
For maize, for maize, we are going to put God's blanket everywhere. Are you seeing? Even on the planting stations, but not too thick on the planting stations. Because for maize, it can sprout, it can go through the God's blanket. And not only on the line, God's blanket covers everywhere, even to the outside of the line. Some tend to end here. Remember, your crops can send the roots to the other side. So you make sure you go outside the farm. You cover everywhere, 100%, 2 centimeter thick.
2.5.
2.5 centimeters thick. Then for beans, if you have your blanket, bring it, put on the everywhere, leaving the main line, because the beans or most legumes, all legumes grow like this, the leaves. So you don't need to cover this one. So when they come up, is when you come and push them on the